So why does a person sin? Ki kol sibas hachatoim. The reason for sin, machmas harichuk, is because of distance, shenesrachik adam Hashem yisbarach, that a person is distant from Hashem. Ve'ein arayas kvadei hamalek kol haaretz. He doesn't see the glory of Hashem that fills the entire world. De'im hayaraya es Hashem yisbarach. If a person would see God, ha'oimid alav, which is standing on top of him, v'raya b'masam, and is watching him, so b'shum oifin, b'shum panim le'ha yachaitei, nobody would sin. So when we're focused, we feel that Hashem is present and Hashem is watching us. There's a spotlight on us. There's a video camera on us, and we don't sin. But as things happen, so what happens is we feel distant. Our consciousness of Hashem goes down. Somehow the Yetzer Hara can do that. We get busy, or we get sidetracked, or our brain becomes like only working at 50% capacity. We just don't feel it. And that richuk, that distance, so to speak, from acknowledging, there's no actual physical distance. He's just as close. But in our minds, we become distant, as if, right? But we're really not distant. He's really there. And he's really, his kavod, his holiness is Malei kol haaretz kavodei. It surrounds and it's mamala kol haaretz. It fills the world. It's everywhere. Hashem is here. Hashem is there. Hashem is truly everywhere. But if you don't feel that, so that's why you sin. Because if you saw Hashem's kavod, if you saw it, then, or as close as we get to it, where we see a miracle, or we see at the kaisel, where we feel, right, then we don't sin. K'mashkos of a Ravid. The Ravid says in Sefer Balei HaNefesh, Ato ben Adam, you person, human, ba'oznecha shema, you should hear in your ears, v'aseinecha tifkach, and you should open your eyes, v'tira tmunas yotzrecha oimdis negdecha. You'll see the tmuna, the picture, the vision of your Creator that is standing across from you, standing right there. Ure'ei, ki hu b'shamayim ata al haaretz, v'nishmarta mikol davara. And you'll see that He's above and you're down here, and that will protect you from doing bad. V'im hu nelam me'enei kol chai, and although He is nelam, you can't see Him. Me'enei kol chai, human eye cannot see Him. Achu nimtza b'lvavos, but He is found in our hearts. V'nigle b'machshavos, and He is revealed in our thoughts. Right? Where is God? He's in our hearts and He's in our thoughts when we can think. Ad kan. That's what the Ravid says. If we open our eyes, we open our consciousness, we will see Hashem in our lives, and all we see is Hashem. That's the ultimate. Some people say, where is God? There is no God. I don't see Hashem. And other people on the other side, all they see is Hashem. Everything is Hashem. And it's up to us, because He's not physically available for us to see. V'hainu shekasha Yehudi royas Hashem yisbarach ha'omed alav ba'oisoi shah einenu mesugol lachtoi klal ki eich yasen neged ritzoni yisbarach b'shasha royas Hashem yisbarach nechachai. If a person sees and can visualize and can feel the truth, just because our eyes can't see it doesn't mean it's not there, right? A person could be allergic to mold. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not going to hurt you. There's so many things in the airwaves that are real. Over here also, Hashem is real, even though our naked eye can't see Him. But if we could see Him and picture Him, that He is real, and He's seeing and watching us, how can I do something against the Ratzon Hashem when He's watching me? The only metzias of chet, right? You think about it, when they told the Yetzer Hara, we have a job for you. I'm going to create a world. I'm going to create people. I'm going to give them air. I'm going to give them gravity. I'm going to give them a whole world. It's so obvious that I exist. And I want you to convince them that I don't exist. The Yetzer Hara probably said to Hashem, like, that's impossible. How is that even? You're everywhere. If you wouldn't exist, there would be no world. If you would exist, there would be no air, no oxygen, no gravity, nothing. But yet, that's what He does. The metzios of Chatam to exist, the ability for it to exist, is only because we can't see Hashem, and we don't feel Him, and we feel ourselves meruchek munutak mimenu, and we feel ourselves meruchek, far away and separated from Hashem. So what's the difference in God's reality between me and a big tzaddik, the reality of Hashem is the same. But sin causes that I don't feel close to Hashem, even though it doesn't change the reality. Hashem is still just as close, just as much there, still a world. He still created it. Nothing changed. But sin creates that we feel umargish es atzmai. We feel meruchak far umenutak mimenu and cut off from Hashem. So that's really probably the biggest trick of sin. The saddest part of sin is the aftermath of sin. The actual Aveira we could do tshuva for. But the feeling that I'm separate from Hashem, then his consciousness goes down from 100 to 90 to 80 to 70 within us. And the davening becomes watered down. Am I talking to him? Am I not talking to him? Is he really listening? Is he not really listening? Does he care? Does he not care? Of course he cares. He's there. He's right there waiting in front of you, the same as the biggest tzaddik. But sin creates that bilbul hadas, that cloud, that smoky cloud of dust, of darkness, that in our own minds, it didn't change the reality, it didn't change Hashem. And then there's a metzios. When a person feels that way, there could be a metzios of chet. It could be possible that a person could sin against Hashem, because otherwise it's like, how on earth could you possibly sin? You jump up at Hashem, punch him in the nose. How are you fighting with God? How could you sin against God? He's creating you. He gives you everything. He gives you life. It's so pashut you can't. The only way is that a person's mind goes down and he feels separate, and all of a sudden the concept of Hashem fades away. Ad kedei kach, that it could be that a person even denies his existence, the existence of Hashem. And this is the battle that we all have. And even though we believe, but how much is Hashem in our consciousness, that really depends on every person at every stage in a different way. And you see some people, myself included, sometimes we daven mamish kavanah, I'm talking to Hashem, and sometimes I'm not even listening to myself. I think sometimes, why should he listen to my bakashas if I'm not listening to them? You know, it's like, are you talking to God or you're not talking to God? Are you praying to Hashem? Are you learning Tyrus Hashem? Do you believe that Hashem is there? And the answer is that we're human, and that's part of the human experience, and it's very hard to remain focused. It's very difficult. It's like after you go to the gym, you could be Charlie horse. You know, sometimes after the Yom Tovim, Yom Neroim, and Tshuva, you can be like Charlie horse because it's like so uncomfortable to just be focused on living a life with Hashem being visible in your heart and in your mindset. But that's what it is. That's where the whole war is. Because if you feel Hashem is real and you feel Him in your consciousness, then you never. How could you sin? How could I sin? So there'll be for sure much, much, much less sins. And what the Yetzer Hara does is he makes us kind of not think, and we feel separated, and then there's a metzius, a possibility of sin to exist. Part of the Aseret Yemei Tshuva, part of coming back, is to work on that focus. When you raise your focus of Hashem in your life, and before you daven, you say, I'm going to talk to Hashem. I'm going to do a mitzvah. I'm going to follow the command of Hashem. And you put Hashem in your life, that will raise the connection between you, and then a lot of the sins that we would do fall away. Because there's less of a metzius, of a possibility of sinning against something that is so real. And it's up to us to make it real. Nobody else can make Hashem real to us, except us. That's the avodah that we have every single day, especially in these days.